Hi, I'm State Representative Denby. I represent the 47th District, which is all within Livingston County. And tonight we're holding a town hall in our county for residents to come and talk about the proposed budget and taxes. Hopefully we're going to have some good dialogue back and forth. Hopefully people come with some recommendations and obviously good questions. We're glad to see a good turnout so far and look forward to a good meeting tonight. I cover western, northern, and southern Livingston County, which includes also the city of Howell and Howell Township. This is my second term, my third year serving in the legislature, and previous to that I was a legislative aide for 6 years. So my 9th year working for the legislature.
Bill Rogers, State Representative for the 66th District. Tonight's actually a very big night. We decided that we wanted to take the budget and the tax plan that the governor has presented out to the public. As I affectionately say, it's a lot easier than knocking on all those doors and making those phone calls. We were hoping to get a lot of people here because we heard a lot of rhetoric beforehand, during, and after, and we want to clear up a lot of the misconceptions, take questions, and hopefully come up with some great ideas from our constituents. We're at Cleary University. Tom Sullivan, the president of the university, was kind enough to let us use the facilities, central location, and we're in the Johnson Center on the campus of Cleary University. The budgets are actually proceeding forward now that we've been presented with the governor's budget. Now the House will come up with a budget, the Senate will come up with theirs, and we'll see how the three actually shake out, and we'll see what we come up with. And our target still is, as I affectionately say, if you're an optimist, it's May 31st, and if you're a pessimist, it's June 1st. But we want to get the budgets done and get on with the rest of the business of the state.
I thought I might give you a couple moments of background because it looks like you're going through some of that. And just open it for questions. So I know you got to have questions on your mind, and I'm happy to have a dialogue with you and try to answer some of those questions. So to put it in perspective, what this is, the budget and tax message, is it's not a traditional budget and tax situation. We've had the same broken system for decades. And I think if I ask people generally, do you like how our budget system works today, or our tax system works today, I don't think anyone really does, or believe it's worked very well for us. So the real question is how do you hit the reset button? Because the system we've had for years and years has been built up since about the 60s, and is now in a system that, in many respects, is a job killer environment that's fundamentally unfair to many people, and has been based on keeping us in the past. The piece is how do we do it in a financially sound, long-term fashion, thinking about a strategic position instead of just tactically saying every year we have cash in and cash out, and stop this kicking the can down the road attitude that we've had for far too long. We haven't had a truly balanced budget in our state for a number of years. It's been through accounting gimmicks, one-time funds, everything else. And it's time we start thinking longer term. So that's why we did a 2-year budget. And that's why I can tell you the budget is structurally sound. It's actually starting to make payments on $47 billion of liabilities that we ran up on our credit cards without not making any real payment on those. And that we need to be responsible for the long term. Because we're leaving that $47 billion otherwise to our kids to pay off. Now, the last principle was about shared sacrifice. And unfortunately, we couldn't all share it evenly, but all of us, in many respects, need to contribute to create an environment where, in the short term, it could be a real challenge, and I appreciate that. And that's where I'm happy to get your feedback. But long term, how do we move ahead so we can all win together? But is it a platform, then, we can have a real discussion on to get rid of a lot of things that haven't worked for us for a long time here? It's really about reinventing our state. And I'm staying focused on that. Because it is time to take on those tough things that we've ignored for far too long. And that's one of the commitments I made. Is if there's a structural problem that we fail to ignore, and there are many of them, we're going to take them on. Because we want to make Michigan a better place for the long term. All of us in the long term about the jobs issue, our kids, and how we can all win together. So that's something we got to get over the short-term issue and look at the long-term. But again, we're a democracy, so I appreciate your thoughts. So with that, let me stop and just answer some questions. So that's the way I am, is if you look at it, we actually try to make tough but thoughtful decisions to say, here's how the cut can be best managed by these people, or how we can get by until we get to the point of getting us on a positive path.
Hi, I'm Rick Snyder. I'm here to talk to the town hall tonight here in Howell about the budget and tax reforms. Well, it's a tough situation, but I believe Michiganders are willing to work together to really get us on the track for the future. We've been living in the past, now it's time to get to the future, and this is our opportunity. Well, I don't know if enjoy is the best word to use right now, but I feel I'm making a positive contribution, and I do enjoy it in the big picture of it's a chance to really get back to people, and it's a great state. Well, we got an exciting opportunity. We just have to decide it's about being positive, forward-looking, and inclusive, about working together and making these reforms happen. This is our opportunity. Let's get it done now and just keep on getting on the gas and going forward in a positive way.
Just, room for the capacity. What do you think about the passion that, people show in their questions and their comments as far as, the budget reform?
Well, I appreciate their passion. I mean, people care. And in two ways. In many respects, the proposals impact people on a personal level, and that clearly drives passion in people. But there are also a lot of passionate people that are looking at the big picture. How do we get Michigan on that positive path of long-term success? And this is our best opportunity to do it. That's why when I gave the budget presentation, I didn't call it Budget 2012 or Tax 2012. I named it the Foundation for Michigan's Reinvention.
All right. Do me a favor, one of the bigger questions that went on in their nutshell for me. How do you justify the larger cuts to education?
Well, again, we had to make large budget cuts overall. And the budget cut to education for K through 12 is about half that in terms of percentage. Still, that's difficult, because I appreciate the fact there's been cuts in the past. But we gave at least two suggestions that could more than make up that cut. And one of those, again, these are statewide comments, but if on medical insurance premiums we went to an 80-20 split, that would account for about 60% of the cut. If we improve non-instructional buying by 10%, that's 60% of the cut. And those are just two ideas. Literally, there are dozens of good things we could be doing to be more efficient, show more results for the resources we have.
All right, this is a 2-year program, right?
Basically, we have a legal budget for 1 year and a planning budget for a second year. And I think that's really important. We've not had that in the past, because through the budget process, we can actually say with this program, 2013, the second year out, is structurally sound and balanced. And we get away from the cut mentality. We actually have a foundation to build on for our future, which is what we need. It's time to get that done. And it also starts paying down the $47 billion of long-term liabilities that we've largely ignored over the last decade or longer.
All right. And what happens after this in 2013, I guess it would be? Like, where does the state go from there?
Well, we'll keep on doing 2-year budgets and longer, and the economy is going up because we're creating jobs and getting us on a positive path to success. Because you don't grow an economy by cutting and cutting and cutting. You have to change the environment to allow free enterprise and jobs to be created and to work. And that's what this is all about, is setting that platform for success, because it's about job creation and keeping our young people here. We're still losing our young people at an alarming rate. We want a great place for them.
Do you guys say any more?
Improvements we can make. But as a whole, the package needs to stay together. So I'm sure there's some tuning, tweaking, and tailoring there. But in terms of wholesale changes, we need to stick with what we propose. It is a solution that will be great for the future. Thanks.
Governor of the State of Michigan, I wanted to ask you today, I have a young teacher teaching with me in my classroom, and really he hears a lot of demoralized items from other teachers. I wanted to know what good news you could present to this young gentleman to stay in Michigan, like you wanted, and work here in Michigan. I have not heard any positive comments to any of the new teachers coming up. For example, I don't think there's any brainstorming going on how to keep these teachers here. Yes, you have new merit pay and possibly going on, but I'm not hearing ideas like tax incentives for teachers, and maybe tax incentives going up, more teachers that work in the larger cities. So these are the things I wanted to ask you that I didn't get a chance to.
Okay, go ahead. Greg Gray, Superintendent, Brighton Area Schools, and I appreciated the honesty. I appreciated the ability to speak with the governor tonight, or listen to him speak, and a lot of the questions that were asked were questions that have been asked not only through our district but through our county. So it was nice to hear it firsthand. The first budget's always the first budget. I mean, last year alone in the school system, from the first one until June, there were 5 separate budgets that came out. So it's a waiting game. The $700 per pupil cut that would come into our school system would be a big challenge. It's about $4.5 to $5 million. After last year, cutting $8.2 million. But I mean, I also understand that the state's in dire need. So, we've already gone to the table and started to put pen to paper to see what ideas we could come up with to try to work through some of these challenging financial issues. That's great. I mean, I don't think you could find a better school system in the state. We have unbelievable staff, and that includes support staff, teachers, administrators. Our community is a great community. We have wonderful kids in our district, and I work with a very functional, high-performing board, high patient. So I count myself very lucky, even though we're in a deficit district and a tough financial situation.
My name is Connie Johnson. I'm a freelancer in the film industry. I do locations for the feature film industry. I came tonight to the town hall meeting because Representative Rogers was very open to a dialogue with me about the film incentive and how we can actually put that incentive together in a way that's going to make it work, not only for me as a person in the film industry and his constituency, but as the state of Michigan as a whole. I came here specifically to meet him face to face, but when the governor showed up as a nice unexpected surprise, as you know, I was able to ask him a very pointed question that affects me right now in my business life, in that when he announced the budget proposal, it effectively cut off the film office from approving any pending or new incoming applications. And what that means is when I talked to the producer that I worked with on 2 films last year, and he says to me, I want to come back into Michigan and spend some more money in Michigan, but I hear Michigan's dead. What's going on? And I said, this is what's going on. We're waiting for these guidelines to come down the pipeline, and they haven't. So I came here. I was able to ask a pointed question to the governor. When are these guidelines going to be forthcoming?
Sullivan, I'm the president of Cleary University, and we hosted a town hall meeting for our 2 representatives from Livingston County, Bill Rogers and Cindy Denby. Their purpose was to present the governor's budget and to get some feedback from the community. We were surprised the governor actually joined us, walked in, thought it was a great move on his part to get out and touch the people. Took questions, going to consider some things. I think it was a productive meeting. Bill and Cindy got a good bit of feedback, a good bit of response, and they've got a tough job to do. I want to get involved and contribute to the governor's efforts as he looks going forward. Cleary University is doing quite well. Our alum are successful. Our curriculum is strong and solid, and we're delighted to be able to continue to serve the people of the district, the people of the state.